1270 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 5 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. We are so thrilled, honored, throw in a few other adjectives, adverbs, whatever they would be. Never clear about that. Our next guest is Geri Jewell, and you know her. She's an Emmy Award-winning actress, and she has been on things. I think the one thing that most people know her from, if you're old enough, is The Facts of Life. Remember that show, The Facts of Life?
Yeah.
She's also been on a few other things. Let's see, on HBO's Deadwood, in the film Two of a Kind, The Night of the White Pants. Mm-hmm. I gotta see that one. The television. She's been on Sesame Street, 21 Jump Street, The Young and the Restless, Alcatraz. I'm not sure what that is. She's a motivational speaker, stand-up comic, and an inspiration for many, many people. She's written a book called "I'm Walking as Straight as I Can: Transcending Disability in Hollywood and Beyond." It is her memoir. And I never know how to say this. Is it cerebral or cerebral palsy? She, as a tragic result of an accident, she was born with cerebral palsy. I'll say it the wrong way or the right way and have her correct me. And Geri, it's an honor to have you on the show with us. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning to you.
And where are you? Where are you, Geri?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Oh, my goodness. We woke you up, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
But you were ready for us, right?
No, I woke up about 10 minutes ago. I knew you were going to call.
Good. So Robin called you just in the nick of time. And did you set your clocks ahead this weekend?
But I have not had coffee yet.
Did you set your clock ahead? Does California do that?
Yes, I did.
Oh, yeah. So it even feels earlier, right?
Oh, God, yes.
Geri, how do you? Is it cerebral or cerebral? I never know how to say that word.
It's cerebral.
Cerebral palsy. Okay. Boy, you're so pretty, by the way. I think you became prettier as you got older.
Oh, well, thank you.
Are you still acting?
Yes, I am.
All right, right now?
Right this very minute.
Because I know I am. No, I'm teasing. So tell me about the book. What made you decide to write the book?
Well, I wrote a book in I didn't really write it. I had an autobiography out in 1984 called Geri.
Okay.
And it was a ghostwriter. He was wonderful. But it wasn't my words. It wasn't really my story. He interviewed me and then wrote it the way he perceived it.
Oh, no.
And it was very lightweight. It was, not a lot of substance to it, but it was a nice little book. And at that time, I had a huge contract with William Morrow and had a book tour that authors dream of, and I had a book that I didn't like. And I was bound and determined that one day I would write my story in my own words, and I would get it done. And so in 2009, I sat down for a year and a half at my computer, sometimes 10-hour days until I was done.
Oh, wow. Now, the show that many of us know you from is Facts of Life, and one of the facts of life is that you got bullied, didn't you?
I did. Are you talking about when I was a kid or when I was an adult?
Yeah.
What?
Well, boy, I didn't know about the adult stories, but I was reading some of the prep material for this interview, and it sounded like because of the cerebral palsy, you were the target of bullying.
Yeah, I was. As a kid, I was by kids in the neighborhood who used to harass me, and also an adult even harassed me as a kid. It was very traumatic and didn't want me to play with their kids because I had cerebral palsy. And she humiliated me. So I dealt with bullying on and off, and as an adult, being in Hollywood, I was bullied in another way. You know, I was very young, very naive, and a lot of people took advantage of that.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, that happens a lot to young people. Yeah, did you, when you decided that you wanted to become an actress, did you have a lot of well-intended advice to not take that direction?
I did. I mean, my parents were not really keen on the idea. They, especially my mom, she knew how intelligent I was, and she wanted me to utilize my brain, to go to college and get a degree in something substantial.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't blame her. But I had this dream, and I started writing Carol Burnett when I was about 12 or 13. And I told her that I loved the fact that she had such a wonderful sense of humor, and that people were laughing with her, not at her. And that was so powerful to me, and I wanted to do that when I grew up. Well, Carol wrote me back. Probably, I would say most of the time she wrote me back. I wrote her a lot of letters.
Oh, really?
And the essence of what she wrote me was to get into acting in every capacity. She told me there was no guarantee that I would become professional, but there's no guarantees in life, period. And the important thing is to put out the effort and to try, because nobody knows what they can do unless they try.
Oh, I love that.
And that coming from Carol Burnett was like a huge motivating factor.
She must be an amazing lady herself. You hear so many great stories about Carol Burnett, and this is just another one. Do you know? But I want to tell you, as a parent, if I had been your dad, as a loving parent, my worry wouldn't have been that you couldn't handle it. My worry would have been that people, like casting directors, would have typecast you in a way that was condescending to you. Does that make sense? But you somehow didn't allow that to happen. I think that's awesome. That's kind of a testament to you and your ability to choose the roles you chose.
Well, I'll tell you, I believe that spiritually I have been guided my entire life. And, you know, I started doing stand-up comedy in 1978. And I was asked to perform at the second annual Media Access Awards in 1980 by Fernfield. And that night, I was introduced to Norman Lear. He was in my audience. And in fact, I found out since that Charlotte Rae was in the audience that night also.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't probably 3 months later when Norman called me to meet with him, and I was written into the Fact of Life as Cousin Geri.
Oh, wow. You were allowed to have your own name.
I know. It's ironic, you know. I was Cousin Geri on Facts of Life and Jewell on Deadwood. I'll probably get a third series when I let someone know what my middle name is.
What is truly amazing about you is that you could have taken your life in the opposite direction and become bitter and hateful, but you turned it into this most positive experience, and because of all that, you were recognized for your humanitarian efforts to others.
Well, you know, like I said, my core is spiritual, and I've never been bitter. I have had moments in my life when I have been angry, and I have even hit moments of despair. But there's a pilot light within me that has never gone out. And I know that phrase, and this too shall pass.
I like it.
Now, there's part of my notes here that I have to ask you about, and I hope it's not stepping over that line between what's too personal and what's not. But it says here there are some blank pages in the book.
Oh, yes.
What is that about? And how did you cover that in the audiobook?
Yeah, right.
Well, if you really must know, I wrote it like this. Chapter 20, my ex-husband, Richard.
Oh no! So you just now why did Richard get three? How many blank pages?
3.
How come he got 3 blank pages?
Well, truthfully, Richard was the hardest part for me to write about. And I wanted to write about it honestly, but I didn't want to cause more pain than there already was. I paid attention to intention. And a friend of mine, Keith, said, well, why don't you just not write about him at all? And I said, because he was a big part of my life, Keith. I have to write something.
Yeah.
And he said, well, why don't you just make it a blank chapter, like 1 page?
You know, I actually, I'm impressed by that decision, actually. We had Carl Reiner on a couple weeks ago, and after reading his book, the one conclusion Robin and I had was that the book leaves out, I mean, everybody has bad things. Everybody has people they might have some kind of anger at or some kind of bitter. He didn't include any of that in his book. He didn't have any blank pages, but he must have intentionally left out things that weren't happy, you know?
Well, and he should be applauded for that, because the truth of the matter is, when we write horrible things about other people, we're really hurting ourselves as well.
That's true, yeah. So blank pages for Richard.
Well, when he suggested just a blank page, I thought about it, and I said, Keith, there's something there. But 1 blank page doesn't really do it justice. It has to be 3.
Oh my goodness, that's too funny.
When you stand up in front of a group of people and you have your comedian light turned on, how do you know exactly what to say to those people to keep the evening very light, but also that you can drive your words home very impactfully?
Well, it has to do with being centered and being focused. And I think that when I'm centered and focused on stage, a higher power works through me, and it just flows. It's like a Niagara Falls. It just comes through me.
Do you know, the one thing I've often wondered about is, with you specifically, Geri, is that, and how do I ask this? If you're famous and you have cerebral palsy, it's almost like one burden has been lifted off of your shoulders and maybe replaced with another one, but the one that was lifted was the one where you constantly have to explain that you have cerebral palsy. But I'm guessing that's not always true. I'm guessing you still have to explain it sometimes. We know a filmmaker here in town that has cerebral palsy, and when he comes on the air, he will always make sure people know, that's why he's talking the way he's talking, for example. Do you have to constantly explain it, or did fame help you get rid of that?
Actually, I explained it a lot in the early days, but now that I'm older and the education has been done enormously in the media, I don't have to explain it as thoroughly as I did when I was younger. What can I say?
Yeah, right.
Truthfully, I'll be honest with you. In my childhood, my fantasy was that I would become famous and cerebral palsy would become invisible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I can imagine that. Yeah. So tell us about you. I bet it's part of A doctor at a party always gets asked questions about medicine. A baseball player always gets asked questions about baseball. So I don't want to ask you about cerebral palsy or acting. What else is there to you? What are you passionate about that has nothing to do with those things?
Well, truthfully, my passion lies in helping other people and to increase awareness. So you're not going to get away from that. That's ingrained in me.
No, that's a good thing. That's a really good thing.
To be honest, to help people to understand that there's light at the end of the tunnel, to give people hope.
Uh-huh.
Also, if you want to know a real passion of me, it's Scrabble.
Scrabble.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
I am very competitive. I play Scrabble online with a lot of people, and I want to win.
oh wow. Well, I'll have to find you online. I'm terrible at it, but I'll play with you. But helping people, I think that's the core of you, and it's almost as if everything that you were blessed with or burdened with, however you want to look at it, has actually helped you pursue that passion of helping other people.
Well, there's a flip side to every coin. Where there's a positive, there's a negative. And there truly is the negative. I mean, physically, I deal with a lot of issues, but most people don't know about it because I hide it so well. I have a lot of physical pain, and I do things hopefully to help alleviate it. I get Botox injections in my neck every 3 months for chronic pain.
Oh, wow.
The spasticity in my legs. I was very blessed because I didn't have a lot of pain growing up with CP. I was so active. I was a tomboy. The pain of CP, the arthritis, everything that comes from abnormal movement over a lifetime, that didn't come in until later. So physically, I am really, really challenged, but you don't hide it, but you don't see it because I'm a performer.
Yeah. And this is one of the most amazing things about you, because you've got people that are here today that are quote unquote normal. They have all of their emotional attributes, all of their physical attributes. They've got everything, and yet they're constantly making people feel sorry for themselves.
Yeah.
And that's really bothersome to me.
I don't do that. That's not my MO.
No,
no.
If you're just tuning in, Geri Jewell is our guest, and we've got a few more minutes left, but I wanted to make sure that new listeners know who you are, Geri. And you know her from The Facts of Life. That's one of the great calling cards she has, but there's more. It goes beyond that. Sesame Street, 21 Jump Street, The Young and the Restless, Deadwood, Two of a Kind, The Night of the White Pants. I got to see that one. That's just something about white pants.
Actually, that was a cute film. It really was. It was a cute little film. And ironically, I played someone with severe cerebral palsy in that one. So I upped the notch of the CP a little bit.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Now, I have to ask you, we do have a phone call, and I know our listeners want to say hi to you, but I wanted to ask you real quickly. The notes also say you worked with the government training people, the CIA and the Army. What did you do with them?
I trained them in windmills and attitudinal training and how to work effectively with people with disabilities in the workplace and how to be in compliance with ADA. And government agencies, especially the CIA, is one of the #1 employers of people with disabilities.
Really? I never knew that. All right, let's take a phone call from the listeners. Thank you for calling. Good morning. You're on the air with Geri Jewell.
Hey, good morning, Geri Jewell. Thank you for getting up so early. I wanted to tell you that I really enjoyed you on Facts Life. I thought you were attractive then, and I got to agree with Larry. You've gotten more attractive over the years, and I'll hang up so I can get back to work. Thanks for coming on the air.
Yeah, he must have looked you up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, maybe maybe we'll do a reunion and we can call it the Change of Life now.
Did you stay friends with the other cast members from that show?
I was friends with Lisa Welcher for a long time, and then we went separate ways. But we all reunited for the TV Land Awards in 2011, and I do see Charlotte occasionally. But no, we were never like, except with Lisa. I was even her roommate when I was on Facts of Life.
When you were writing your book, it's extremely personal to write about yourself. Did you keep it undercover, so to speak, and not share it with other people that you were writing about you and your life, or did you make it public to your family and friends?
I kept it under wraps because I didn't want to be criticized so gigantically where I gave up before I even finished the book.
Oh, good for you.
Oh, wow. You are so inspirational.
That must come from experience. I'm guessing that happens to all of us, but I don't know. It just seems like you went through more than your share, and you handled it well, so that's the good part of this. I want to go back to the book you didn't like, the one that was you were a little disappointed in with the ghostwriter. I'm just curious, was it written like a teeny bopper fan magazine type of a book?
Exactly.
Okay.
You hit it. You hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what it was.
All right. Now I understand why you didn't like it. And they probably thought that's what would sell or whatever, right?
Yeah, it was just a cute little Geri Jewell book. But truthfully, as years went on, I realized that there was a place for it. And it was a wonderful book for kids to get comfortable with children with disabilities. So it did serve a purpose. You
know, we have an acquaintance who is from England, but he has a look. How do I explain this? He's an actor, and his name is Wajid, so you might know him. But he gets cast. What do you call it? Typecast a lot because he's got this Indian guru look.
Yeah.
And I think and Jay Leno calls on him now and then to be like this guru. Okay, so he one time sent us what do you call it? Like a compilation reel to show off his talents, you know. So I guess just to see what we thought of it, because he was sending it out to producers and directors and stuff. Anyway, he said, "Well, what do you think of it?" And I told him I like the last clip the best, because the last clip he was really acting. I mean, not that he wasn't in the others, but there was nothing that was playing on that Indian guru look. He was really a dad, and with a son and with a wife. And in the other ones, he was always like this stereotype of what people think a guy like that would be like. And what that has to do with you is that's the same question I have. Did you find that happening where people were casting you now and then into something that was, okay, this is what you think I am, but it's not really what I am, but but it's a job.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be an issue for people with disabilities in the industry all the time. In fact, my biggest issue is not being typecast, but just getting an audition. I mean, everybody says, my agent calls the role, and they go, "Oh yeah, we saw Geri. Yeah, we've done disability on our show already."
Oh, gee.
Yeah.
So
they've covered it. So
yeah, I truly have not been mainstreamed. Deadwood was the closest. But, to be a part of an ensemble cast where I just happened to have, truthfully, I didn't have cerebral palsy on Deadwood because cerebral palsy was not even diagnosed until 1921.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, now on Facts of Life, though, after you became a familiar face on that show, they didn't really play on that a whole lot. They allowed you to act more than just being the cerebral palsy girl, right?
They did, but truthfully, they didn't. I only did 12 episodes in 4 years. Now, that's not a lot of employment.
Oh, I got you. Okay. I guess I
So
didn't realize that.
But what's amazing is that to this day, when I go out in public, people know me from Facts of Life. I mean, I only did 12 episodes. That is so powerful.
Really, it is. Wow, and the statement in the publicity material that you broke the glass ceiling, enabling other people who may not have normally gotten into acting. That must. I mean, do you get feedback like that from those actors and actresses?
Oh, yeah. You know, I am the first that can never be taken away from me. And I've opened the doors for a lot of other people with disabilities to work in the industry. And I didn't do it alone. Yes, I created my comedy act and started doing that in 1978. I created that. But it was people like Norman Lear, like Burnfield, Al Burton, who opened the door and allowed me to use that talent on a grand scale.
Wow. Geri, it's been an honor to have you. Thank you for getting up early. The book, make sure I got the name right. I'm Walking as Straight as I Can, Transcending Disability in Hollywood and Beyond, and it's also available as an audiobook, correct?
Yes, yes.
And is there a website you want to leave the listeners with? Do you have a website or a Facebook page?
My website is being doctored at the moment, but you can go to it. It's www.gerijewell.com.
Okay.
I also have Twitter, which is my name, and I also have a Facebook fan page and a Facebook I'm Walking as Straight as I Can page.
Oh, excellent. Is the book also an ebook by chance?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And I'm guessing you can go to Amazon and all the other normal places where books are sold.
Oh, yeah.
Geri, thank you so much for agreeing to be on our little show, and good luck with the book.
Thank you so much. And now I'm going to go make a pot of coffee.
Nice.
All right, we'll take a little break and be right back.
Are you experiencing pain in your neck, head, or back? Have you been in a recent accident or injury? Get your questions answered by me, Dr. Riyadh Fakuri, board-certified chiropractic orthopedist at the Fakuri Medical and Chiropractic Center, here on the Head to Toe Care Show, every Wednesday at 11 a.m. to answer your questions so you can get the help you deserve. That's Dr. Riyadh Fakuri on the Head to Toe Care Show every Wednesday at 11 a.m. on WOCA, The Source.
This is a public notice. Local residents can now save thousands of dollars on their next car, truck, or SUV. It's not a tent sale, because no tent is big enough to hold this many cars. It's OcalaForSale.com. Say goodbye to sticker shock. OcalaForSale.com has thousands of vehicles with no stickers at all. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust-proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Here we go. Hi, this is Josh. And this is Brad. Join us every Friday at 9 here on WOCA for our show, Winging It. It's all about aviation and such things. Basically, just winging it. It's a chance for me to rebel against the orderly way of flying. We will also be giving away Discovery flights and other prizes. So tune in on Fridays here on WOCA The Source. Or watch us online at www.woca.com. Okay, let's go home.
Hi, this is Tom Schmitz, the host of Buddy's Saturday Sports Page on WOCA. The Saturday Sports Page is your weekend destination for everything sports, from NASCAR to golf, baseball to boxing, and of course the best, most comprehensive football coverage on the radio. Also, you don't want to miss my weekly Are You Kidding Me rant? So join me and JJ LaSalva every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for Buddy's Saturday Sports Page on WOCA, The Source.
You're listening to WOCA News Talk 1370, Ocala's source for what's happening in today's hottest, up-to-date news and topics.
What's up with you this weekend?
Just doing my taxes.
Doing your taxes? Go to Liberty Tax. Do you want your money fast, or do you want to wait?
Fast, I guess.
That's right. And where do you get America's fastest refunds?
Liberty Tax Service.
Let Liberty Tax show you the freedom.
Find us at libertytax.com or call 866-871-1040 today to find a location near you. That's 866-871-1040.
Remember, March 11th through the 16th, veterans get their taxes done free.
This is a public notice. Local residents can now save thousands of dollars on their next car, truck, or SUV. It's not a tent sale, because no tent is big enough to hold this many cars. It's OcalaForSale.com. Say goodbye to sticker shock. OcalaForSale.com has thousands of vehicles with no stickers at all. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge, undercutting, less proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
Married men are more likely to keep up with routine doctor's visits than bachelors. Their cancer was detected earlier, so they were 35% more likely to survive. The longer we commute, the more stress we have in our bodies, the higher our body mass index, and the more strain it puts on our relationships. People learn more effectively when they break up their lessons over several short sessions rather than one long cramming marathon.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Nice looking Monday morning. We just finished an interview with Geri Jewell, the actress who was on The Facts of Life, and she was on to promote a book that she has written. And in the contents of that interview, she told us that she has one chapter, and she's a funny lady, so she has one chapter dedicated to her ex-husband, and it's 3 blank pages. So, of course, we had some fun with that.
Yeah.
But I actually, and I don't usually connect interviews, from one to the next, but I wanted to say that in order to introduce our next guest, because she obviously, in a funny way, was revealing to us that she had some things she'd rather not talk about regarding her ex-husband. Obviously, things didn't work out so well. But, there was that moment. Anybody who's ever been divorced, and I'm divorced, but there was that moment when you're standing at that altar and you think, this is it. This is going to be the best thing that ever happened to me. This person and I, we're going to make it. We're going to get through sickness and in health, as the vows say. And for one reason or another, it doesn't always work out. Now, for some people, Robin, it has worked out for you. But I'm guessing that you and Ronnie have had your own sets of rocky roads, not to be too personal here.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, everybody does, right?
Right.
I remember listening to somebody when I worked at an assisted living facility, and she was a widow, but her husband died after they had been married 60 years.
Wow.
And somebody said, well, what was the secret to living 60 years? And to being married 60 years. And she said the secret was not getting unmarried. It didn't mean everything. I thought that was a great answer.
It is a great answer.
It wasn't that everything was perfect. It's that they stuck together. And boy, is there any better definition than that to say, you know what, good or bad, I'm going to stay by your side. Dr. Gregory K. Popchak is on the phone. He's a psychologist, a theologist, nationally recognized as an expert in psychological counseling for affective disorders, depression and anxiety, for example, and marriage and family problems. He's the co-host of his nationally syndicated radio program called Heart, Mind, and Strength, so he's very familiar with what we're doing here, Robin. And he's written a book. It's called How to Find True Love, a guidebook that illustrates love's rich variety. I love the topic of love, and not that I'm an expert in any way. Dr. Popchak, good morning, Doctor.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being on the air with us. Where are you?
I'm in Steubenville, Ohio.
Oh, okay. And
about 30 minutes west of Pittsburgh.
Does the time change in Ohio, too, or did you guys keep it the same?
No, we did change times.
So it's early.
Unfortunately.
So you got up early just to be with us, right?
Yeah, actually, I had an interview at 7:40 Sunday morning.
Wow.
Sunday morning.
Sunday morning. Gosh, that's
that
even
was
worse.
Oh, no. Do you think, a lot of times I look back on my school years and I say, I would have been a better student if I was in school now. And then I think back on my marriage years, I think, I think I'd be a better husband if I got married now. It's like I learned something too late, Do you think that's true for a lot of us?
Well, I think that there was a commercial not too long ago where they showed a kid kind of growing up through all the different stages. Just when you get the teen years down, you then get into your 20s. Just when you get the 20s down, you're in your 30s. Just when you get
That's true.
It's just sort of the way things are. I guess going back to what you just said about that friend of yours who told you that the secret to staying married was not getting unmarried.
Right.
I think that there is some wisdom in that because we do learn as we go things that would enable us to handle those problems that just seem so insurmountable and seem like they're going to go on forever. In fact, there's some research that shows that couples who are in difficult relationships, even just by sticking it out over the course of a 5-year period, find themselves in a much better place. So, things do change. We do learn and grow.
What is your thoughts on attractiveness? I think sometimes attractiveness is oversold to us. I don't know who's responsible for it, but I mean, how many couples have you known that stayed attractive when they were 80 years old? I guess it's all in the eye of the beholder. But the point is that, okay, maybe that's a biological function so that we get together in the first place. But
I do think that's true. I think that attraction is important because it draws us to each other. It reminds us, I think, to reach outside of ourselves toward another person. But it's the weakest foundation for a commitment, for a connection, and what has to take over, not beyond just attraction or arousal, is friendship and intimacy.
Yes.
And I find that that's especially true when it comes to the physical relationship. So many couples will say that they had a great sexual relationship before marriage, but then after marriage it kind of dies. And a lot of times that's because the sexual relationship is entirely rooted in arousal, and because arousal is physiological, it's susceptible to sickness, to anxiety, to exhaustion, to just getting used to somebody. And so, you need something else to keep that passion going. And what keeps it going is that friendship and that intimacy that makes you want to fall into bed at the end of the day and just be held by your best friend. You might not want to swing from chandeliers, but you do want to just be held by that one person who's got your back. And as you're being held, that's what gets those flames going back up again.
I like that.
But the attraction, the arousal, that's not always there at first.
So how do you teach somebody to look past that in love state to the love state? How do you teach somebody how to recognize the person who's going to become that person?
You mean before they get married, or
yeah, the book is titled "How to Find True Love," so
right.
I'm guessing it's toward maybe not just young people, but people in new relationships.
Well, actually, it's really not just about finding the one either. What it's really about is all the different places that love is kind of hidden in plain sight, with family relationships and the workplace, and even in encounters with strangers. Just how those surprising and unexpected ways that love can transform our lives and open up our hearts to others in new ways. But to go back to your question, how do you know whether a person is the one? I find that really it comes down to, yes, there has to be attraction there, but beyond that, there has to be that sense that I feel even more comfortable pursuing not just my dreams, but the kind of person that I want to be. I feel more confident standing for what I believe in, for growing in those qualities that are important to me, standing firm in those beliefs that are important to me when I'm with you than even when I'm on my own. And if you can have that kind of relationship with somebody, then that's a good person to be a friend with and to build a life with. Because all the research really shows that at the heart of a healthy relationship is a shared vision of some sort or another. For many people that's religion, other people that's something else. But it's this idea that this relationship is here, yes, to make us happy, but also it's to serve a greater purpose in some way.
Sometimes there are parents that allow their 16-year-old daughters to date men in their 20s, and sometimes the 16-year-olds will say, well, this man, I love him. If I don't be with him, I'm never going to find true love. How do you guide those parents to let them know that really is too young and that those